Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another edition of Bad Deck Monday, where we take some wacky ideas and try them out and see what happens. Now, for this edition of Bad Deck Monday, it's arguable that this deck is not so bad, but I would probably say it's not going to win a tournament anytime soon, so it fits in here on Bad Deck Monday. So it's going to revolve around two cards. The first one here is Weavile. 90 HP Team Plasma Pokemon, has his first attack Hail. For 1 energy does 10 to each of your opponent's Pokemon. We don't really care about that attack. We're going after the attack Vilify. For 1 dark, 1 colorless energy does 30 damage times the number of Pokemon you want to discard from your hand. So, obviously we need a lot of Pokemon to discard, but the number 1 target we're going to use for this is Exeggcute. Exeggcute has the ability Propagation. Once during your turn, if it's in your discard pile, you can put Exeggcute back into your hand. It's pretty sweet with Vilify. Every turn, if you get the 4 Exeggcute into the discard pile, you just bring them right back, and, well, that's an instant 120 damage with Vilify. Just a couple more, and you can knock out any Pokemon EX with 6 Pokemon for Vilify. So it's a pretty cool combo we have right here. That is the basis of the deck. The rest of the deck is going to be pretty much role players. We have a 1-1 Electrode line. Magnetic Draw late in the game can allow you to fill your hand up a little more and draw a couple more Pokemon. Sableye is always nice since we're running Darkness Energy for the Junk Hunt attack to get back some item cards. Get back some, Super Rod maybe, or whatever we really need. Dark Patch perhaps. Then we have a Mr. Mime, has Bench Barrier. We have low HP Pokemon in this deck, so spread attacks like Darkrai's Night Spear, or Kyurem's Frost Spear, Landorus EX's Hammerhead, things like that really do a number on this deck, so we need to find a way to block that bench damage, and Mr. Mime is here just for that. We also have 2 Jirachi EX, pretty nice since we can just search for it in Stellar Guidance for a supporter. Consistency is pretty key for this deck, so we need to find a lot of ways to keep replenishing our hand. And with Jirachi EX, any Ultra Ball or Level Ball can instantly turn into a supporter. So we play 2 of these bad boys as well. We also usually have the bench space for it, so it's a good fit in this deck. And then we have 1 strange Pokemon, 1 Lileep. This might not make much sense. It's a restored Pokemon. We're really never going to put it into play, but it has a nice ability, Prehistoric Call. If it's in your discard pile, you can put it on the bottom of your deck. This has a couple purposes. Number 1, it's a Pokemon that can keep being recycled. If it's in your discard, you can just put it back in, level ball for it again. Why not? At the end of a game, if you have less than 7 cards in your deck, put it at the bottom of your deck, play a Professor Juniper, that's instantly another Pokemon in your hand. So Lileep is a nice, versatile Pokemon. This can honestly be any of the Pokemon with this ability. I believe Tortuga and Arcan as well have these abilities, so either one of those would work as well. Lileep is just the first one I picked. But that is the main strategy of the deck. We're going to try to Vilify for 1-hit knockouts with Exeggcute and then something else. Now on to the trainers. We actually run a pretty light supporter line. Just 4 Professor Juniper, 4 N, and then 4 Random Receiver. Now this might seem like a very low amount, but with the 2 Jirachi EX and also Electrode, it seems to work pretty well. 8 total supporters, kinda low, but we do have Dowsing Machine to work with, so we can recover a supporter if we need to. And also, this deck really goes really quickly, and its games are over in really only a couple turns sometimes. So we don't really need a lot of supporters, we just need to draw cards very quickly. We have 4 Ultra Ball. This is really nice because once we get 2 Exeggcute in the discard pile, we can use Propagation, and then we can play Ultra Ball for free. We're just discarding Exeggcute every time. And every time Exeggcute returns to your discard pile, you get to Propagate again. It's very confusing for a lot of players, but you can use Exeggcute in multiple times in a turn if you bring it back and discard it again. That's an official ruling. I see a lot of people saying, no, you can't do that, but yes, you can. So Ultra Ball and Exeggcute, also Dowsing Machine and Exeggcute, have a lot of synergy. We have 2 level ball as well, since everything in the deck has 90 HP or less. Pretty cool. We can search for everything. We have 4 Dark Patch. This is our main way of powering up Weavile's Vilify attack, since it does take 2 energy to do that. Silver Bangle is a cool card that makes it so we need 1 less Pokemon to discard with Vilify to get a knockout on a Pokemon EX. Now we just need 5 in a Silver Bangle, and we do 180 damage. That's pretty darn cool if you ask me. We also have 2 Super Rods, since we do need to shuffle in our Weavile. That's really our only attacker in the deck. And it's also nice to just get Pokemon back in general, so we can keep using Vilify. Otherwise, we just have a Tool Scrapper, because that pesky Garbodor is out there, and you never know what tools might pop up. And 1 Professor's Letter is pretty nice. Searches for 2 Darkness Energy, and that really helps us if we want to like Ultra Ball away some Darkness Energy, so we can start using that Dark Patch very quickly. We also have 2 Escape Rope. This can help out because we do need to Dark Patch to a benched Pokemon. Also, a lot of the time our opponent wants to use non-EX attackers to force us to only take 1 prize, and Escape Rope can force them to send out an EX attacker, allowing us to take 2 prizes. We're trying to win as quickly as possible. Escape Rope helps us out. Also, this gets us around special conditions. So that's the deck in a nutshell. We also have 9 Darkness Energy. It's really all you need. And I guess let's just get to a game with this deck, and let's see how Weavile Exeggcute performs in action. So let's go up against a player named Fervid Dance. Got his sweet sunglasses on. And let's see what happens. Looks like I have lost the coin flip. Tough decision. Which one do we start with? Sableye or Exeggcute? Should be an easy answer. Never start with Exeggcute, unless you really have to. It's a 30 HP Pokemon that gets knocked out very easily. One of the few Pokemon that can actually be knocked out turn 1 in this game, even if your opponent is going first by a Burbank City Gym and a Hypnotoxic Laser. Yes, you can lose before drawing a card still, thanks to the wonders of Exeggcute. Alrighty, so we see a Terrakion in the starting spot. It's not really a card we want to see, but it'll be interesting to see what kind of a deck we face. And it looks like it is some kind of a fairy deck, as we do see a Spritzy come down into the bench spot. Now I have 2 Exeggcute in my hand. I could lose next turn if a strange sequence of events happens. Actually, it might not be that strange. Just a Darkrai, and a Aromatisse, and another Energy, and an Yveltal EX, and I would be Evil Balled for the game, but it didn't seem worth it to bench and Exeggcute there. But this is scary. If we see an Yveltal EX here, I have lost the game. Was it worth the risk? I still say yes. Benching Exeggcute is pretty much conceding the game with this deck. You really need like all 4 in order to get this deck going. So I would probably do that almost every time. Just don't bench Exeggcute. No real reason to do that. And we are fortunate to survive, and I actually get to Juniper away 3 Exeggcute. Now that is awesome. We got 3 of those bad boys in the discard pile. And we'll actually be able to get number 4 in the discard if I want to this turn. Looks like for some reason I decided not to. I think that was a mistake there. I probably should have just level balled for an Exeggcute and then ultra balled for Voltorb there. But looks like I'm going a different route. So we're going to go ahead and junk hunt for a Dark Patch and then a level ball. So we will have an option next turn to grab Electrode, or we could grab Weavile. Then we can just Stellar Guidance with Jirachi for another supporter card and really keep the train rolling here. We had a very good first turn. We really can't attack turn 1 with this deck, but hey, that's about as good of a start as you can get. I almost got all 4 Exeggcute in the discard pile. If I were paying attention, I probably would have, but oh well. So we see a Darkrai coming out, and a Skyla from my opponent, and a Rare Candy as well. It looks like some very interesting deck we have here. A Kling Klang Aromatisse deck. Don't see this very often at all. So I think this is going to be a big turn here. I will go ahead and level ball for that Exeggcute. And then we'll go ahead and propagation. Just Ultra Ball. And we can discard 2 Exeggcutes. We have 4 in the discard pile right now. I'll just go ahead and grab Electrode since we can pretty much play my hand down here and draw a bunch of cards. Dark Patch to the bench Sneasel. We'll draw 3. We got a Weavile here. Now I could, level ball and thin out some Pokemon here. But I actually think getting a knockout is so big here. I take out all my opponent's energy that I want to just draw a Pokemon and an energy, and then I think we just kind of coast to victory for there. So I don't even think I'm going to thin out any Pokemon here. So I want to improve my odds of drawing them. And this may seem strange, but I'm not sure. It might be the right thing. Well, I drew Pokemon. I did not draw energy, though. So that backfired tremendously. And with such a fragile deck like Weavile, this could be the kiss of death. Missing 1 turn of attacking could just be the end of the game. Oh no. So now what do we do? Well, I know this is a very tough spot. Retreating here really wouldn't do much since the energy situation is a problem. Gosh, if I had that energy to vilify here, I think this would just be a dominant position, taking away all 3 energy from my opponent. These fairy decks don't have any energy acceleration outside of regular Xerneas and the Geomancy attack. And that's an attack, so we would not be surprised by any knockouts next turn, but now, I mean, what do? I guess we went from knockout and a Darkrai, taking away all our opponent's energy, to Hail? Hail for 30 and, 40, and then 10 to my opponent's bench. Pretty pathetic compared to what this could have been, but, guess we gotta work with what we've got here. And now I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about my spot. I was feeling really good if I would have just gotten energy there. Maybe I was better off just playing an Ultra Ball and a Level Ball, grabbing some more Pokemon out of there, and going that route. So maybe drawing energy would have been more important, but I do feel like it was pretty unlucky not to draw an energy there. That does happen sometimes. So we'll just kind of live with it and move on and see what we can do from here. So we see a Skyla for the max potion right there. That's going to go ahead and heal that Darkrai off completely. The Aromatisse has Fairy Transfer, which will allow my opponent to move all those energy around. And we do see 3 energy get moved back up to the Darkrai. And we'll see another Night Spear this turn. I should probably get Mr. Mime in play. Those Night Spears are starting to add up. But we do see another prize taken from my opponent. And I'm going to go ahead and Dark Patch onto the Sneasel. We can go ahead and bench another Sneasel here. And we'll go ahead. I can Dowsing Machine here and get, let's see, we could get probably Silver Bangle just to make my knockout easier. Everything else seems like it's a little bit of a waste. So we'll go ahead and Dowsing Machine for that Silver Bangle. Again, getting a knockout here would be tremendous. But yeah, it looks like I will have enough resources here to do that. We can go ahead and, propagate 4 times, Ultra Ball for something else, and then Vilify for the knockout. So I'll go ahead and propagate, then grab a Lileep out of the deck. It's the only Pokemon that's basically worthless. We'll go ahead and grab the 4 Exeggcute out of the discard pile. And here we go. We're going to Vilify. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 30 from the Silver Bangle. And that will be a knockout. 180 damage. So Weavile does have a lot of strength. The one-hit knockout potential is there. And it's actually pretty darn strong. So it's really cool when you can pull that kind of stuff off. Now we do see, unfortunately, my Weavile does have 60 damage on it already. So Cobalion EX could just, Righteous Edge for 30 and finish me off. This is crucial because it'll keep an energy in play for the Terrakion to come out next turn if I were to knock out the Cobalion. And, yeah, I guess this is a problem right now. So I may have to sit back and use Sablei's Junk Hunt this turn. Seems like that might be the way to go. Just so I can get some more energy into play. You know, Junk Hunt for a couple Dark Patch, or a Dark Patch and get the Dowsing Machine back, keep my options open, and really force my opponent into a bad spot. So I'm going to go ahead and Escape Rope. And, you know, next turn if my opponent wants to take the knockout on Sableye, he'll have to commit like 3 energies somewhere. Probably 3 to the Terrakion, or maybe 2 to Virizion EX, and then a Muscle Band, which is still fine. The point is we're trying to just take away my opponent's energy at this point. Now I'm going to Magnetic Draw, and I got a Super Rod off of that, so we'll go ahead and shuffle in 2 Sneasel, and then probably a Weavile as well, and then just attach to the Sableye. Can Juniper. Yay, what an ugly Juniper that was, but we can Junk Hunt here for a Dark Patch, and then just a Dowsing Machine. Dowsing Machine is the best card you can take here, because you don't have to pay anything to use it. You just discard 2 Exeggcutes. With Propagation, you get them back, and it's just a free get anything back. So that's a pretty good ace-spec card when you really don't have to pay the cost on it. If you want to be, if you want to look at it like that, it's just you play it and you get back any trainer card. I will take that any day. Thank you, Exeggcute. Now again, my opponent is stuck to 1 energy attachment per turn. If he wants to take the knockout on Sableye, he would have to commit 3 of them to attacking with one of those big Pokemon. So we took advantage of that last turn, and now we're going to try to strike this turn. From here, we should be able to win. I'm going to go ahead and Propagation, and then we can Ultra Ball. Probably get another Weavile into play. Just take a look at what we've got. We could get another Sneasel, I suppose. I guess we can get that into play. I actually don't need to do anything else since the Kling Clang has 20 damage on it already. So that means if I want to Vilify, I just need to discard the 4 Exeggcutes. So my opponent put the Rainbow Energy on that Kling Clang. That actually helped me out quite a bit. Now I don't have to discard an extra Pokemon. That's actually a kind of a game-changing thing right there. And I don't know who's going to win from here. Looks pretty close, but I would say I might have the advantage just based on my ability to get 1-hit knockouts from here on out. And I'm going to go ahead and Super Rod, shuffle in a Weavile and a couple energy. Then we will Magnetic Draw. And here we go with the Propagation. Exeggcute, definitely the card that makes this deck run. Just getting those 4 Pokemon back every time is very strong. And we'll just go ahead, get those 4 back, and Vilify, discarding the 4 eggs. And there we go, Vilify for 120 damage. Now we're tied up at 3 prizes apiece. Difference being, my opponent's going to have to use EX Pokemon to win, I would assume. I mean, my opponent could have a bunch of non-EX attackers. If that were the case, I might be on the losing end of the exchange. Right, it would just be 1-for-1 trades, and I would end up losing. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But a lot of these big basic Aromatisse decks run almost exclusively EX attackers, taking advantage of the fact that they probably won't get knocked out in 1 hit. Then they can use the Max Potion. Maybe there's a few non-EX attackers like that Terrakion, maybe like a Safeguard, Suicune sometimes, but for the most part, I would say this is pretty common. Lots of big EXs, and Darkrai is going to come out in Night Spear for another 90 and 30 to the Weavile. And now, if we can take the knockout on this Darkrai, this game seems like it's over. I was actually surprised my opponent didn't just use Terrakion's Retaliate there to knock me out, and then maybe gone for a big play with the Darkrai to try to finish the game. Since if I get this knockout right here, this game is pretty much over, I would say. So I'm going to go ahead and Professor's Letter. We can draw or we can grab 2 darkness energy out of the deck. And we have a lot of them left. I might have super outed too many in there. Maybe I should have grabbed another Pokemon instead. Whoops, but oh well. We'll go ahead and attach to the Weavile. And I think I need a Dark Patch here. So we need a Dowsing Machine for that. The Dark Patch is just what's going to allow me to attack next turn, because Terrakion most likely will retaliate next turn. So I'm going to go ahead and Dowsing Machine, grab the Dark Patch. I'm actually just going to discard the random receivers and whatnot since they don't matter at this point. And as long as I draw 2 Pokemon off of this Juniper that aren't named Weavile, we're good. There's a Weavile, a Mr. Mime, and a second Weavile. Basically, I need to draw Mr. Mime plus 1 more Pokemon. So the only way I lose here is if I draw the worst possible 7. It's basically if Mr. Mime is the 8th card. Actually, I could avoid this by using Magnetic Draw, drawing my whole deck, and then using Lily to put that back in the deck. But it looks like I'm just going to go ahead with this route. And we were not completely unlucky. We got the Mr. Mime in the 7 cards. And this should just pretty much wrap up the game at this point. We can evolve into the Weavile and Vilify. There we go. Discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokemon and get a big hit for 180 damage. And from here we have a second Weavile waiting in the wings. Even if we get End down to 1 card or something like that, I do have options to Magnetic Draw with Electrode. And everything just seems to be working out right now. My opponent, and yep, just promoted Terrakion and realized, yep, never mind. Can't win and concedes the game. So Weavile Exeggcute takes a victory over what's actually turning out to be a big archetype in the format. This Aromatisse big basics deck. So, hey, Weavile is actually kind of good against these decks that really rely on big EX Pokemon, since it can knock them out in 1 hit as long as you can keep a nice string of Weavile going. Who knows? Maybe it can beat these big decks. It really kind of struggles with the non-EX attackers, but hey, we can take 2 prizes at a time, and that's always a good thing. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I will see you guys next time.